Hello, and welcome to our channel. Here, we explore the most terrifying horror legends born in Japan, a land where ancient spirits linger and forgotten whispers still echo in the dark. From haunted shrines to cursed school bathrooms, each tale is rooted in real places, deep beliefs, and centuries of fear. In today's video, we'll take you into the chilling story of Kuchisake Onna, the slit-mouthed woman, a legend that once gripped all of Japan in fear that it became a social phenomenon in 1979. She wears a surgical mask. She asks you one simple question, and your answer could seal your fate. The legend goes like this. Imagine that it's a quiet evening in suburban Japan. A young boy walks home alone from cram school, the streetlights humming softly above. Suddenly, from behind him, a woman steps into view. She's beautiful, tall, with long, shiny black hair. Her face is mostly covered by a beige surgical mask. Not so unusual in Japan, but something about her feels wrong, off. She asks softly, "Am I beautiful?" Startled, the boy mumbles, "Yes." The woman slowly lifts her mask. Beneath it, her mouth is grotesquely torn from ear to ear, a bloody, gaping slit. She smiles wide and asks again, "Even like this?" What happens next depends on your answer. If you say yes, she will smile. And with her massive scissors, will cut your mouth open wide to match hers. If you say no, she will simply stab you to death. Quite simple, right? While the image of Kuchisake Onna as a masked woman with a gaping mouth feels modern, her story is far older, her roots buried in the eerie soil of Japanese folklore. Long before her 1979 explosion into public consciousness, the idea of a slit-mouthed woman haunted Japan's collective imagination way earlier. One of the earliest written accounts appears in the Edo-period collection Kaidan Toshi no Tsu, the old man's staff of ghost stories compiled in the early 19th century. The tale takes place in Okubo Hyakunincho, now part of Shinjuku, Tokyo. A teenage boy named Gonsuke walks through the rain one evening. He sees a soaking wet woman and offers to share his umbrella, a small gesture of kindness. But when the woman turns to thank him, her mouth is torn open from ear to ear. Gonsuke collapses from shock. Afterward, he appears dazed and hollow, aged beyond recognition. His teeth fall out, his mind vanishes, and before long, he dies. The story concludes that the woman was not human, but a kitsune, a shape-shifting fox spirit known for luring and punishing humans. A similar tale also appears in another book from the 19th century, Ihon Sayoshigure, a popular illustrated storybook. In it, a courtesan walking through the pleasure quarters of Yoshiwara in Tokyo is stopped by a playful client. When she turns, her mouth stretches horrifyingly to both ears. The client faints on the spot and never returns. These early stories reveal that the motif of the slit-mouthed woman, beautiful, eerie, and grotesque, has haunted Japan for centuries. But there is a few theories on how it developed to the modern incarnation of Kuchisake Onna. But before we dive into that, let me tell you what exactly happened in 1979. The beginning of the very first story was in a countryside of Japan, Gifu Prefecture. In January 1979, an elderly farmer woman told locals she had seen a strange, tall woman in a red coat and surgical mask standing eerily still by a rice field. The woman's face, she said, seemed not normal. This was picked up by the local newspaper. From there, the story spread rapidly among children in the area. Within days, kids began whispering about a woman who chased schoolboys, carried scissors and knives, and wore a mask to hide her grotesque smile. By April, the panic had become widespread across Nagoya, Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo. Children were so frightened that some refused to walk home alone, cried in class, or begged to leave early. Teachers and administrators, overwhelmed by the growing panic, began taking real measures like organizing group walks home from school, canceling after-school activities, and even requesting police presence near school gates. Yes, you heard it right. This simple urban legend haunted so many kids that authorities had to act on it, and I am not kidding. Then came a chilling incident that blurred the line between rumor and reality even further. In Nagoya, police stopped a 25-year-old woman wearing a surgical mask and red coat, spotted loitering near a school. She was assumed to be pulling a Kuchisake Onna prank, but when questioned, she was found to be carrying a large kitchen knife. She was arrested immediately. Whether her intention was malicious or not, the damage was done. Her story hit the headlines, solidifying public belief that Kuchisake Onna wasn't just a rumor. She might actually exist. Modern folklorists and sociologists classify this as a classic case of mass psychogenic illness, a rumor so compelling it causes real behavior change. But it wasn't baseless hysteria. It emerged during a time of profound social tension in Japan, where there was a rise in violent crimes targeting children, increasing urban alienation in growing cities, anxieties around surgical masks, which were once uncommon but increasingly seen due to pollution and flu, and a growing cultural fixation on beauty, shame, and female conformity. Kuchisake Onna was more than a ghost. She embodied modern fears with ancient roots. Then, just as quickly as she appeared, she vanished. By late summer in that same year of 1979, the panic faded almost overnight. What changed? Funny enough, it was a simple summer vacation. With schools closed, children no longer gathered daily. The oral transmission of the legend, hallway whispers, playground rumors, group walks, vanished. Without that daily exchange, the story lost momentum. Many researchers believe this proves how vital peer-to-peer storytelling is to sustaining urban legends. Kuchisake Onna didn't need TV or newspapers. She needed a schoolyard, and when that disappeared, so did she. But legends don't die. They sleep, and Kuchisake Onna still waits, behind a mask, in a red coat, wondering if someone someday will answer her question again. How this horror legend developed to how it is being told now has a few theories. One version connects her to the vengeful spirits of the Edo-period, during a time of peasant uprisings. Those executed or punished by feudal lords were said to leave behind curses, some so powerful, they eventually manifested as grotesque yokai, including a disfigured woman with a mouth split ear to ear. Later, in the Meiji period, new explanations emerged. In the rural mountains of Gifu and Shiga, it was considered dangerous for women to travel alone, especially to meet lovers at night. To protect themselves, or perhaps to frighten off attackers, some women would disguise themselves, dressed in white funeral robes, faces painted with white powder, hair deliberately disheveled, a candle fixed atop their head, a sickle in hand, and, most unsettling of all, a carrot held between their teeth to resemble a gaping mouth. It's said this strange appearance became the basis for tales of an unnatural woman on the road, a prototype for Kuchisake Onna. Other theories are more grounded in social critique. In the 1970s, only children from wealthy families in Gifu could afford to attend evening cram schools. Some claim that the legend was deliberately spread by envious classmates or adults, warning that a slit-mouthed woman attacks kids walking alone to cram school at night. In this version, Kuchisake Onna was fear as a weapon, used to create social control. Still others suggest she was a patient who escaped a psychiatric institution, wandering at night with her mouth smeared in lipstick, her mind broken by trauma. Or perhaps she was the result of botched plastic surgery, driven mad by her own reflection. Her obsession with beauty twisted into violence. And then there's the strangest theory of all. One whispered in conspiracy circles that Kuchisake Onna was a rumor seeded by the CIA, in an experiment to observe how urban legends propagate across a population. Now, for those horror seekers, let me tell you what you should do when you actually encounter one in Japan. There are a few rumored ways to survive, though none of them are exactly foolproof. Some say she has a strange weakness for Beko Ame, a traditional hard caramel candy. If you toss a handful at her feet, she might pause to pick it up, momentarily distracted like a child, or a ghost clinging to some distant memory. That brief moment might be just enough to escape. Others believe that how you answer her question matters most. When she leans in and asks, "Am I beautiful?" a direct yes or no could seal your fate. But if you reply with something deliberately vague like, "You're average," or "so-so," it throws her off balance. It's said she doesn't know how to process uncertainty, and in her confusion, she may simply vanish. There are whispers that carrying something red, like lipstick fabric, or even red ink can ward her off. In Japanese tradition, red is a color of protection, purification, and power, a boundary against the supernatural. Others still swear by salt, used in Shinto rituals to purify space and repel spirits. Some children in the 1979 panic carried tiny salt packets in their school bags just in case. But whatever you do, don't run. Because, and here's the truly terrifying part, there's a rumor that Kuchisake Onna can run 100 meters in just 6 seconds, which is faster than Usain Bolt, the world record of 9.58 seconds. But if you're confident enough you can beat that though, why not? Of course, the legend of Kuchisake Onna has slashed her way into modern pop culture. She appears in many films, manga, and games like Carved, 2007, Gantz, and Persona series. Her look, long hair, white coat, surgical mask, even influenced Japanese horror fashion and inspired similar spirits like Sadako from The Ring. And with the rise of face masks in everyday life, many wonder if she might still be walking among us. So next time someone in a mask asks you a question on a lonely street, think carefully before you answer. Am I beautiful? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into Japanese horror legends, like and subscribe, and tell us in the comments which ghost should we cover next.